What's up, folks? Welcome back to HDC. So the House is trying to ban semi-automatic rifles again, or how they like to put it, assault weapons. And I would like to urge the entire gun community to stop using the term assault weapons because it's simply not true. That's a BS term that the Democrats use to try to make these guns seem like they're just terrible guns. Now, this bill was introduced in the House and people are freaking out about it. So the question has to be asked, what would something like this look like if it actually passed? How would they go about doing it? And what would be the consequences of disarming Americans? So in the past couple of years, unless you just completely live under a rock, I'm sure you've seen on the news, or maybe you live in a big city and seen it for yourself, that the crime rate has gone completely through the roof. And contrary to popular belief, semi-automatic rifles are used in very few of these crimes. If anything, pistols are used the most. So Congress and everyone under the sun knowing that, why would our government be going after semi-automatic rifles? Oh, because it's a school shooter's weapon of choice? Okay, that's fine, that makes sense. A lot of the school shootings, they use semi-automatic rifles. But if you ban them, and someone still wants to do a school shooting, how do you think they're gonna do that? One, they can go to the street and get one. Your ban is not going to ban illegal firearms. They're already illegal. People who are using illegal firearms or firearms that they bought from the street, they're not going to turn them in after this ban and say, oh, okay, well, you banned this gun, so I'll just do my criminal activities with a different gun. No, they don't care. The only people that you're going to be disarming are law-abiding Americans. But let's say for some reason in just complete fairy and unicorn land that every single semi-automatic rifle was taken off the streets after your ban. What's the next best choice? Well, someone can get a 30-round magazine for a Glock. Have you ever heard of that? Now, pistols are a little harder to shoot, but they can still do just as much damage with a pistol with a 30-round magazine as they can with a semi-automatic rifle with a 30-round magazine as well. It's numbers, same amount of shots. Okay, but let's say all of the high-capacity magazines for handguns got taken off the street too. Do you know how long it takes to reload a magazine for even a 10-round magazine? If you're really slow, a half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second if you just really don't know what you're doing. Then you have an unlimited amount. Put 10 10-round mags in a bag, you're good. Everyone who thinks this is about making America a safer place, you are high. Now, the other end of this is there are more firearms in America than there are people. So you pass this bill. Let me seriously ask you a question. How many people are going to say, okay, you ban the guns that I own, here you go? People that have once spent their hard-earned money on. People that believe, truly believe that it is their self-protection for a criminal who doesn't have to abide by these laws and bans because they already aren't. How many people do you think you're going to turn them in? 5%? I would say more like 2%. So then what? Are you going to arrest every single American who owns an AR-15 or that style of rifle? Okay. Where are you going to put them? Prisons are already overloaded. Do you have the personnel to put them anywhere and control them? So then, if people aren't going to hand them in, if you don't have enough space to arrest everyone, then the question becomes, are you going to go door to door? Okay, well, you're probably going to have to go to at least 60% of the residences in the entire United States to try to recover every single one of these guns. How long do you think that's going to take? Let's just take houses. There are, according to 2020 reports, 140 million houses in the US. So let's do a little math here. We said conservatively 60% of the houses you're going to have to go to, right? Okay, that's 84 million houses. Now, who are the people who are going to go and try to collect these guns? And how many people do you need in order to feel safe or to feel intimidating to the homeowner? More than one. So there's about 800,000 law enforcement personnel in the United States. We're going to knock off 100,000 of that because they're probably high government officials who wouldn't bother trying to go door to door. So let's say 700,000. How many of those people do you think believe in the Second Amendment? How many of those people believe that this is wrong and that they refuse to go door to door just to collect law-abiding Americans' guns. Let's be conservative and say 50,000 of those people. So now we're at 650,000. Now we said that you're probably not going to send one of these law enforcement officers alone to a house. You'll probably send 2 or 3. Let's just say 2 just so we're at an even number here. So you've got 84 million houses that you need to go to. You've got 650,000 law enforcement officers divided by 2 because 2 of them at least have to go to each house. So that's 325,000 pairs. Wait a second, we're not just making them do this full time because remember, crime rate is at a ridiculous rate and you probably can't even handle the calls that you've got right now. So based on these law enforcement officers working 8-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts, how much extra time do you think they have to just go to these houses? 1, 2 houses a day after their shift or during their shift? Maybe with all the crime that's going on? Let's just stick with 2. Do you think it's going to be a real quick trip? Hey, sir, America just passed a ban for all of your semi-automatic rifles in your house. Sorry, sir. I don't have those anymore. I don't have them. Sir, but we have a record that you do. Okay, well, feel free to search my house, sir. Right? It's not going to be a real quick, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. So, 325,000 pairs of law enforcement officers working 5 days a week. They're not going to want to do this on their day off, even if they agree to do this. That's 700,000 houses a day, multiplied by 5 days a week. So that's 3.75 million houses per week. That's going to take you about 22 weeks to get to every single house that owns a semi-automatic rifle. But how many of them are you going to get? How many of those people are going to be compliant? How many of them will you actually find if you search their house? You're not going to arrest every single person that says, I just don't know where I put them. So I think this is a lot bigger than we're just going to ban semi-automatic rifles. I haven't heard any of this talked about in any of these meetings in Congress. And I think someone ought to really bring this up. You can ban whatever you want, but do you have the personnel? Do you have the ability to actually enforce the ban? A lot of stuff to think about. And at the end of the day, the true reality is that if somehow all of these guns disappear with this ban, guess what's going to happen? There are going to be a shitload of home robberies because the robber will have the gun and the homeowner won't. Every single day in America will look like the purge because there is no longer fear for these criminals because they have the power. They have the guns. Law-abiding Americans who love this country, who want to protect this country, don't.